so let's mix up some epoxy hardener, epoxy resin. This is the pump kit that they supply. It's one pump of each, gives the right volume, the right mixture. So they say you got to prime it. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I want to do 8 ounces, which might be, well, okay, so need some more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I think that'll be enough. We'll see. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. This isn't coming back up for some reason. 6, 7, 8, 9, I think 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm going to put an extra 1 or 2 in there because a couple of those did not come out very good. Okay, so they say to mix this up for 2 minutes. I'm an odd person in that I will read the directions. And it's, I don't know if you can see that, it's very clear. I guess as I'm stirring it, it looks like it might be getting a little cloudy. Seems to be thickening up some. A little bit more. Now the next step will be to add the milled fiberglass, and after that the silica thickener. Apparently the thickener is the last step because things start happening faster once that's in. So I've got my little yellow scoop that I figured that 2.5 of these scoops is 1/4 of a cup, and 4 scoops is 1/3 of a cup. Andy at Boat Works today, he always does it by eye and feel, but he said if he had to take a guess, you use about 1/4 of a cup of the milled fibers and maybe 1/3 of a cup a little bit more of the fumed silica. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I certainly don't have the experience to know anything different, so alright, so this is the milled fibers, and somewhere around 1/4 of a cup, so 2.5 scoops. It's packed in there pretty good. I'm going to use a clean stick to help me. One. Two. That's about a half. Alright, and this is definitely thickening it up. I can feel it getting tougher to stir. I can also feel the warmth coming off of the exothermic chemical reaction with the 2 parts of the epoxy resin mixed together. And that heat can be an issue, making things flash off too quickly, or it certainly is part of the curing process, so something to keep in mind. Alright, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's kind of a gray blue, and I would say probably the consistency of syrup. Yeah, probably something like that. Alright, so now, and I think there's actually a warning about this stuff. It's so fine. I'm going to put my respirator on just so I don't breathe this stuff in. This has a neat little thing. You just pull this down to tighten everything up. Okay, so this definitely is making some more heat, and I would say we're not thick enough yet for peanut butter for sure. I don't think we're quite the ketchup, so I'm going to need to add some more stuff, and I think I'm just going to double what I put in there the first time around. So did 2.5 of this. This being the chopped fiberglass. I don't imagine you'd want to get any of this fiberglass in your lungs either. That wouldn't be a good day. Alright, that thickened it up a good bit, and boy, is that cup getting hot. I think we're definitely to ketchup. Now, what's interesting, and I'm not sure if it's something I'm doing wrong, but there's little clumps of the silica that haven't quite stirred in all the way. Kind of like when you mix up pancake batter and you can't get it all to mix uniformly. Alright, let's go with the silica. Alright, we're working on it. We're not the peanut butter. Peanut butter doesn't fall off the stick when you pick it up, but it's definitely getting thicker and warmer. So you got to use a mixing cup that's for this kind of stuff, or else you'll melt most regular plastics. Alright. I think one more round will do it. Almost forgot to mix it first. And it's definitely thickening up now. I don't know, maybe pudding? There's actually steam coming off of this cup. It is cooking. Alright, boys and girls, I think I just ruined the batch. It is solid as a rock. Well, it's mushy like a rock. But this is what happened. And I thought it was going to, as hot as this cup was getting, it just turned solid, and so I did something wrong. I think it might have been too much of the Cavasol. And of course it doesn't help that I was doing it time after time with different levels. So yeah, so it's only that much product, so it wasn't like I wasted a whole lot, and I figured this might just happen because of my inexperience. So I think I'm going to, let's see. Boy, that's rock. That is rock hard. I think what I'm going to do is combine the first two layers, first two steps. Let me get this off. I think it might have been because of the extended mixing time, because I kept adding to it to get to the right consistency, and it just took way longer than you normally would. So I think that's a complete loss. I'm going to go ahead and mix up another batch, see how that goes. Hey now everybody, it is Sunday morning. It's a lot cooler than it was yesterday, and last night I went back on YouTube to find out what I did wrong with the first try at making peanut butter. And love YouTube. You oftentimes have to go to more than one source to get the answer, or at least to confirm it. I went on Andy Miller's website, which is boatworkstoday.com. He's been my guru as far as learning this, and I went back to the episode where he talked about making peanut butter, and sure enough, he does it differently than the directions on the stuff from Total Boat. So I also went on Frisco Boaters has a series where he restored a Sea Ray that had soft deck and stringers. I like his stuff a lot. I like Andy's better. He's the professional, but Frisco Boater had very similar recommendations on making peanut butter as Andy did. There's a few other series out there that I've also seen. J Mink restored, I think it was like an 18-foot boat, and showed a lot of good stuff. There's other ones out there if you look and search. So the big difference with what they recommend is to put the resin in first, then add the milled fiberglass. Mix that up. Then add the hardener. Mix that up. And then lastly add the cabosil. And that kind of makes sense because things really seem to go fast when the cabosil was added. That's the real thickening agent, I believe. So the other thing, and I'll address this later, instead of the milled glass fibers, some of them were using chopped fibers. Each fiber was about 1/4 of an inch in length. That gave you more of a hairy consistency. This gives you more of a solid putty-like consistency. So anyway, another couple things that I learned or relearned. It's amazing what you forget after you've watched something some time ago. To get the thickened epoxy onto your surface, a caulk gun would be ideal, but we don't have a caulk gun with the stuff inside of it. But a heavy-duty Ziploc bag with a small corner cut out of it works just fine. I'm not sure if I got the hole size right. It might be just a hair large. We'll see. The other thing is instead of using the popsicle sticks, regular paint stirrers are probably a little stronger. And also something that is good to have is some of these cheap spreaders, and I should have them close by when I'm doing this kind of work. So anyway, let's get started. I'll show you the second round and see if we fare better than we did the first time.